That's a good start, isn't it? So everybody around us seems to be fearful of the future, of the uncertainty, of what happens. Actually, I ask you, you've been in some pretty fearful situations and had to take decisions. So think for a moment, that horrible moment, ooh, I'm about to be fired. Ooh, I made a wrong decision. So you're in this state of fear, and you need to make decisions there. I think that's not a good place from which to start and to make good decisions happen. So recently, because I'm a fan of What About the Future, I asked one of the most future-ready companies I know. Carrie Freeman is an ebbf member, Second Muse is a B Corp, and I asked her, what's one of the biggest trends that you would say will define the future? And she said, it is actually fearless. The fearlessness of these younger generations. Specifically, she said, these guys have a debt of $100,000 and they don't care. They leave their jobs, they really do not care. And there's droves of people doing that. It's amazing to see, and I would like to say, not fearless altogether, like crazy people who have no fear, but who have less fear than us. They take decisions in a very different way without the weight of the fear impending on them. And these are huge, huge situations. Just after that session I had with Carrie and a number of other people, this article pops up on the BBC, which says, times of crisis, huge number of unemployment. People are losing their jobs right, left, and center. Guess what's happening? The biggest spike on record of people leaving their jobs. They want to leave their jobs. And I think news items are very interesting, but what's more interesting is our conversations at dinner. I had a conversation with Rainier, beautiful conversation 2 evenings ago. He has 3 wonderful, we say children, but they're actually between 20 and 30, so they would be very upset if we called them children, but that's the way it goes. And he actually mentioned, that's right, my eldest is planning to leave a really great design job in a year and a half. She wants to reach that level, then she's going to leave. A second one is a design engineer, great job. You know what, Dad? I think I'm going to take a break. I'm going to take a van and go out for 6 months. That sounds really crazy. What are these guys? A well-paid job? You're going to lose your career? Fearless. They have really no problem at all with that. So these people, in droves, are moving forward. In another event I was facilitating, there was this, the chief innovator at Capgemini here in Spain, and she said, the future of work in Capgemini will have no offices. We will have anchor points, places where people will come to co-create. And then the director of innovation of a very, very large Spanish bank, I will not mention them, definitely not Bank Inter, he said, everybody has to come back to work in the office. So, the man said everybody back in the office. The woman said, no, there's no more offices. And the tone, to work or to co-create. So there's a huge difference between the attitudes of companies and why they decide to go one way or the other. And what's also very important, and I mentioned it earlier, is that if you work from wherever you want, you go to these hub points, Impact Hub, co-working spaces, inspirational spaces, you're not here in the office. Most decisions in the office are taken here, around the table, and we're looking inside. We're taking decisions about the future without seeing the future because we are looking inside. If you're outside, automatically your brain works in a different way, and a really different kind of innovation comes into play. What more? This is a key question that people are asking, not just younger people, I think all of us are here, is what is really important? And the pandemic has just accelerated this question for what is important. And each one of us has an answer to that, or different answers. Everybody, or more and more people, are now asking that question, which has important points. So great, purpose. Purpose is the answer. It's not. I'm really sorry, I'm here to talk to you about purpose, but purpose is not the answer. My purpose, your purpose is not the answer. What we're looking for is purposes. Is having a different vision from the me to really encompass a wider sense of the purposes in this room. Our purposes will create the most amazing, is creating the most amazing companies and organizations. So what's important to us is the key element that will drive progress or not drive it. And this is where I have a huge problem. So I work at B Lab, and the teams at B Lab were saying, please stop working. Do not work the weekend. That's enough. Please close the computer. I work Second Muse. I was talking with Carrie. We have a huge problem of burnout because we are just going 200%. So if you guys do not have motivated teams, that's your problem. Purpose-driven companies have hyper-motivated teams, which creates other kinds of problems, but definitely not the problem of not getting the best out of people, like Tam was mentioning before. So what is this co-idea? What is this we-purpose idea? What does it actually mean? You may have seen that Carrie is co-CEO of the company. So she's co-CEO together with Scott Cozain. And so this is already interesting. There's not one CEO, there's two CEOs. They happen to be a woman and a man. So this creates a lot of more complexity, but it creates an amazingly powerful company that sends a message, that thinks in a different way, that is not focused on the purpose of Carrie Freeman. It's already focused on two people, two individuals. And what they do, Second Muse, we bring communities together to build economies that benefit and protect the people, benefit the people and protect the planet. So the purpose is right front and center of this organization. Just a couple of examples. They work with NASA and they create space apps. So it's not the purpose of one. They organize the largest global hackathons engaging thousands of citizens. So now it's a purpose of thousands of people. This is mind-blowing how this shift is happening and makes you tremble in terms of how do I manage all this purpose? How do I move forward in this direction? Another example of what they do, they work with the Rockefeller Foundation to build the visions of the future. So not what we need to do, just putting ourselves in terms of the food of the future, 2050, what does that look like? And here they worked with OpenIDEO and had entries from all over the world, again, bringing the purposes, the passion, the meaning to these organizations. So these are big challenges that we need to be facing, but they seem to be doing pretty well and have solutions to that. So our purposes, and building on Jason's example, has other examples as well. So this fearlessness makes you more daring to do things which you would not have done before. For example, was mentioned, Nike, Black Lives Matter. Nike's Just Do It. Their whole campaign was, for once, don't do it. Don't be racist. Don't shut up when you see something happening. Do not. So it was all about the contrary to what they did. Nice. What to me was amazing is what their biggest competitor, one of the bigger competitors did, Adidas. Adidas, on their posts on social media, they don't say, we're doing great thing, is look at Nike. So you're actually putting on a pedestal your competitor, our purposes, and we come together. Together is how we move forward. Together is how we make the change. This is mind-blowing. Competitors applauding each other, supporting each other. Burger King has an announcement. Is that a typo? Burger King says, please go to McDonald's and buy McDonald's. Or to Pizza Hut or everybody else. Why? Because there's not enough people going to buy during the recession, so whatever you do, please come and buy, rubbish food. I'm not really saying you should do that. I'm just showing you what Burger King and McDonald's are doing to support each other. Now, one last example, Apple. Who would you say is one of the main competitors of Apple? One of the biggest. Apple competitor? Microsoft, who else? Samsung, thank you. So opposite extremes, right? This is my biggest competitor. This is the producer of all my screens of all my iPhones and iPads and everything else. So your biggest competitor is your biggest collaborator. Mind-blowing. This could never happen 2 or 3 or 4 years ago. Now it's normal. That's how business thrives. I'm not going to say this is good business, but it's just the way business has evolved. It's a huge change of common purposes, of fearlessness. And this fearlessness pushes the boundaries even further. Now, we're talking about my purpose, we're talking about our purposes, and now we want to actually use activism to push this and to have our purpose become the purpose of society, to influence society with what's important to us. This, again, is, as we were saying before, sounds very risky, but this is now becoming almost commonplace. And again, Jason gave a beautiful example there, which is Ben & Jerry's. So what do you expect to have on the homepage of Ben & Jerry's? Ice creams. Oh, delicious, very nice. Sustainable, fair trade. Not too sustainable. Ice cream is not really a sustainable business. They're also a B Corp. No. A few weeks ago, on the homepage of Ben & Jerry's was this. So basically, there's a really stupid law that if you're an immigrant to Spain, you cannot have a work permit for 3 years, which is so incredibly stupid. I know the original idea was, please don't come to Spain because you will not be able to work here. The reality is there are tons of immigrants just on the streets who cannot work for 3 years. So Ben & Jerry's, an ice cream company, decided to make a huge campaign going well beyond their business model to say this is not right. We do not support this. This should, and they won. And they proudly say they won. So the amount of love towards the Ben & Jerry against Häagen-Dazs or other things is huge. These guys are making a mint. But the reason for being is not making a mint is we have a purpose, we are passionate, our team is passionate, we go beyond our business case, and this will become the new norm for successful companies. So it's really up to us if we want to be or do not want to be successful. So my final questions to you are, is your organization fearless ready? I underline, not fearless as crazy, wild, without any fear. That's disaster. Fearless. Not have fear drivers, not have panic drivers, not have the risk drivers, but really embracing a new way of being that makes our decisions much better. I go back to the beginning. When we make decisions in a fearful situation, the outcome is not good. When we make decisions in a great, competitive, strong environment, the decisions will be much better. So it's pretty much common sense. The second question I have for you is, are you seeking shared purposes? Are you actively engaging with other people to say, what's your purpose? What's your purpose, dear provider, that loves me so much? This is my purpose. This is where I stand. And having that level of clarity that goes well beyond. Are you creating, and also asking your people, I'm not sure how many of you have asked your people, what is your purpose? Not just like, oh, hello, what's your purpose? No, in a much more deep, profound sense. That's fundamental to know what are the purpose of the people in your team, be they freelance, gig economy, or anything. Really ask them that question. That's hugely powerful. Are you creating a purposeful organization? Basically, why do you exist? Why does the organization deserve to exist? Don't tell me money because it's obvious. You need to make money, otherwise you don't exist. That's a given. Let's go to the serious stuff. Why does your organization exist? Does it deserve to exist? And last, are you developing your collaborative superpowers? Are you really pushing forward the best possible people? Hint, women are a great way to fast-track this, or female leadership. Are you developing your superpower of collaboration? And guess what? I have not one or two, I have over 4,000 companies, B Corps, around the world, who decide to be, I want to be the best company for the world. It works, it's profitable, creates great companies, and really my question is, why not? Why aren't you doing it? It's just so obvious. Thank you very much.